What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Muscle. Today I'm going to be comparing my 2013 Audi RS5 to a 2014 V10 Audi R8. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm at my garage at M1 Concourse. I'm going to go ahead and open it up, pull out the R8, and we're going to do a comparison because, believe it or not, this car is like a baby R8, and you'll see that in a short bit. So let's go ahead. I've got a couple of cars in there I got to pull out first, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm in the garage. This is a Noble that I'm wrapping right now, so I've got to pull that out. And then the R8 is in the back under the lift, tightly wedged in there. So go ahead and pull that out after we pull out the Noble. All right, I forgot the RS5's in the way too. So let's go ahead and move that one. All right, now the RS5's out of the way. Pull this car out, and this car is really weird to start. It's a South African, really weird key too. And fire it up, and it doesn't like to run very well either. Gotta hold the R's a little bit till she gets warm. All right, I'm out of the garage. Hopefully this thing will get warmed up because it does not like to run until it is warm. So I still have my foot on the gas. But it's a pretty cool car. It's got this sweet quilted headliner. It's got a roll cage that's actually covered in suede too. It's pretty cool. All right, the Noble's out of the garage. Time to pull out the R8, and hopefully, you guys see how tight this is between the edge of the R8 and the toolbox. We won't scrape anything, but I've got my little helper. There she is. And go ahead and pull this car out. Let's get her uncovered. All right, guys, the R8 is out and getting warm. This car is awesome. I get excited every time that I get into it. Now, guys, I've got to say, this view never gets old. I love it. All right, guys, so RS5 versus R8, or baby R8 versus regular R8, whichever one. So these are both awesome cars. And to start off, this car, brand new, is about, just so you guys know, is about an $82,000 car, and this one is, it's right around $200 brand new. These cars aren't brand new. That's not I didn't pay 80 grand for that car. That car wasn't paid almost $200,000 either. None of those exist. But from a high level perspective, if you guys were to go to get into one of these cars to drive one, and I held up two keys for you. I've got this key, and I've got this key. Which would you guess goes with the R8? You would assume that the nicer keyless key would go with the more expensive car, and that the maybe cheaper key would go with the less expensive car, but that's false. That's the one thing that I find very weird about these cars, is that the RS5 has a way nicer key and is push to start, as where the R8 is not. It still uses a traditional key, which is kind of funny to me. I'm not sure why they did that. I think the new one got an update, but either or, it's kind of weird. So, interesting point, this key is identical to the key of a Volkswagen. Identical, but for whatever reason, the RS5 gets a nicer key. It even says RS on the back, when they could have done this with the R8 and had it say R8 on the back. I'm not sure why they did it, but they did. All right, guys, now one thing that is really cool and why I call that car a baby R8 is because they actually share just about the same transmission. Even though this car is mid-engine, the transmissions are still pretty much the same. They both share the same 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch transmission. So the only difference, though, when they went to the R8 is that they accommodated that same trans to work with the transaxle, essentially for a mid-engine car. That one they didn't. They developed it on that car, modified it for that one, but it started off on that RS5. And again, that's a 2013, that's a 2014. So they're putting, I guess, the technology is great. It still shifts fine, but they're putting older technology, modifying it, putting it in a newer car. Again, this car has the V8 in it, so it's a similar variant to the one that comes in the V8 R8. This one's a V10, but it's just very interesting because it's similar to how this R8 is scaled down from the Lamborghini Gallardo. This car actually has, it's only at 80% power out of the motor, and they tune the Lamborghini up to 100%. So this car is down 20% from where it could be. With a tune, it'll be a little quicker. Same scenario with this car. This engine's a detuned motor from the V8 variant of the R8. It's not identical, but it still shares very similar aspects to it. So getting into the suspension and the brakes of the car, they share a lot of it. These brakes are the same ones on my RS5. They're both 8-piston, huge. I'm not sure what the rotor size is, but it's the same one. They're interchangeable. They use the same brakes. So braking wise, it's the same car. This one weighs a little bit less, I think. Don't quote me on it. But it's still weird that on a car that costs over $100,000 more, they're using pretty much the same components, which, by the way, they share on the Lamborghini Gallardo as well. So they cross a lot of components, but they charge a lot more, like way higher prices for these cars for no reason. Very strange. Step inside the R8. The dash does look pretty nice, and I've got no complaints about it. I mean, the little red outlines look pretty cool. I mean, it looks aggressive. And let's see, I'll go ahead and fire it up. Let's see. Again, putting my key, putting the key into the ignition, which is very strange. There should be like a push to start or something, seeing as my 1-year-older RS5 has it, but sounds pretty good and not bad. The weird thing though, look at the display. It's very old, looks outdated in comparison to the RS5, which looks a lot nicer. Maybe because they thought that was supposed to be a luxury car, but that looks old to me. It looks very just digitalized and old for its time. There's all the climate controls. Let's see, I don't know how to turn this on. Oh, has a little R8 there. But this MMI, I'm pretty sure is the same one that's in my 2013. We'll go look at that in a second. Actually, it's not. Guys, this almost looks worse. This looks very old. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Let's go look at the RS5 and see what that looks like. Let's see. And already, it looks a lot nicer. Look at the dash. It has actually the seats are moving for me. It has the memory seats. Look at the screen out of a car that's 1 year older. And look at this screen. So if we go to the radio, like how we were on the R8, this looks, let me turn that off. Oh, shut up, come on. There it goes. Oh, come on. This looks way newer, way nicer. So in comparison, it's kind of weird, again, that a car that's that much more expensive doesn't have all the features that my RS5 has. As far as like all of the amenities go, just looks wise for the infotainment system, the RS5 is a lot nicer and is, again, more than half the cost of that R8. So it's kind of weird on Audi's part. I know they redid the new one. I'm only talking about was it the Gen 2, whatever, that's the 2014 body style. So it's a little weird, but, you know, I don't know why you do that. So again, why I call it a baby R8, it revs to 8,200 RPM, just like the R8 does. Sounds pretty good too. So guys, even as far as accessibility goes, like just working on or using the car, for my RS5, let's say I want to pop the hood, I need to work on it. I need to check my coolant level, right? I'll just go under here, grab my hood latch, I'll pop it, right? Car's off, pretty easy. I can walk over. There we go. Hood's popped, full access to the engine, easy enough. Let's try that on the R8. Same thing, car's off. I want to check the coolant level on the R8. I need to pop the hood. It's back here, right there, pop it. Oh wait, this doesn't work. I forgot. I have to take my key out. Not even my push to start key. My manual key from the 50s. Put it in. Turn it to the on position so the car is on. Now I can get out and I can open the engine compartment. Why you can't do that when the car is off, I have no idea. Yeah, or if the battery's dead, how can you get in the car? So that'll give you access to it. It's very strange how this car functions in comparison to that one, right? Way less than half the cost, really expensive for what you get out of it. Granted, the performance is here, But still, that aspect aside, everything else is kind of strange. Again, mid-engine car and not much trunk space, but in comparison to my RS5, let's go ahead, pop her open. Way more space. Way more space in comparison. So both of these cars also have the active spoiler that comes up at 77 miles an hour, which again, not an option, just came with the car. So there's mine. There's this one, and I know a lot of people delete them and they'll put like a giant, you know, wing on the back, a big carbon fiber wing, and they'll actually get rid of this. So I don't know, it's kind of cool. But that factor aside, the RS5 is a nicer car, I think, than the R8, engine aside. Totally engine aside. They're both all-wheel drive. They both would handle great all year round, other than this car's a little bit higher than that one. But engine aside, performance aside, right? Like, not even performance, because this car performs really well too. Just sheerly horsepower, because I could put a supercharger on this one, right? I think the RS5 might be a little bit better and have the R8. It's weird, I know, I get it. But it's just being inside that car versus being inside this one, that doesn't feel like a almost $200,000 car. You know, there's no way. I think it's aged well for its time, and it's worth, you know, I think it's worth about 100 grand now or something. And that, for that car, that's about right. You know, and a lot of the other ones, the V8 variants are depreciating, but for what you get out of it, I think that's about right. These have come down a lot, and for what you get out of these, I think that's well worth it, especially since they're pretty rare and they're limited. So again, I'm not sure, guys. It's kind of a weird little comparison. Let's close her up. Bye-bye V10. If you can get your hand on enough. All right, guys, well, there you have it. Is the RS5 better than the R8? All right, sounds pretty good. That V8 sounds awesome, but let's go ahead, fire up this V10, and see how that bad boy sounds. All right, guys, there you have it. Which one sounded better? The V10 is pretty menacing. The V8 also sounds really good for its own reasons. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.